Imagine sitting down to a fancy dinner, ordering that flaky, buttery red snapper fillet prized for its mild flavor and status as a Gulf delicacy. The U.S. seafood market is worth over $102 billion annually, with red snapper alone fetching up to $10 to $15 per pound at retail. But here's the mind-blowing truth. Studies show up to 87% of red snapper sold in the U.S. is fake, often swapped with cheaper fish like tilapia or rockfish. Welcome to the seafood fraud epidemic, where you've probably never eaten real red snapper. Red snapper, scientifically Lutginus campicanus, has been harvested from the Gulf of Mexico since the 1840s, starting around Pensacola, Florida, with smack vessels fishing near ports. By the early 1900s, landings exceeded 7 million pounds yearly as fleets expanded to Campeche Bank in Mexico. Production involves catching these reef-dwelling fish at depths of 30 to 200 feet using hooks or trawls. It takes skilled labor and fuel-intensive boats. Real red snapper is expensive due to its biology. Females mature at 2 years, but overfishing has depleted stocks, making large fish rare. Harvesting 1 pound requires sorting through bycatch, and strict quotas limit supply to about 15 million pounds commercially in the Gulf annually, valued at $35 to $40 million dockside. Processing adds costs. Filleting, freezing, and shipping, pushing wholesale prices to $5 to $7 per pound. Demand for red snapper exploded due to its popularity in American cuisine, with U.S. consumption rising alongside the $102 billion seafood industry. But supply crashed. Overfished since the 1980s, stocks fell 90% from pre-war levels, with landings dropping from 10 million pounds in the 1960s to under 6 million in the 1980s. Rebuilding plans since 2005 cap harvests, while climate change, habitat loss, and bycatch from shrimp trawls, killing juveniles, slashed availability by 30 to 50% in recent years. Illegal, unreported fishing adds pressure, with 8 to 14 million tons of global fish caught illegally annually. This mismatch doubled prices from $3 to $4 per pound in the 2000s to $10 plus today, creating a sticker shock, where high demand, e.g. 400,000 plus tons of snapper-like fish imported yearly, meets low legal supply, opening doors for fraud. With prices soaring, fraudsters exploit complex supply chains. Fish are caught illegally, e.g. Mexican lanchas poaching 15,000 plus pounds yearly in U.S. waters, or substituted early. On transshipment vessels, cheap imports like tilapia, $1 to $2 per pound, or vermilion snapper are relabeled as red snapper using fake docks. Examples. In 2019, Oceana found 87% of snapper mislabeled. One study DNA tested 120 samples, only 7 were real. Criminals smuggle via ports. Mixing with legal catches, NOAA busted 12 tons of illegal Brazilian snapper in 2025. Substitutes include tilefish, toxic risks, or Asian catfish. Fraud peaks at restaurants, 100% mislabeling in some sushi spots. Profits. Swapping tilapia for snapper nets $7 plus per plate extra, fueling a global $23 billion IUU fishing black market. Grocery chains and restaurants often ignore fraud because fakes are cheaper, boosting margins, e.g., tilapia costs 1/3 of red snapper. Only 15% of imports are inspected by FDA. NOAA sees fraud in 40% of voluntary submissions but lacks resources. Governments enforce via Lacey Act, prosecuting mislabeling, but underfunding and complex chains hinder action, e.g., 92% compliance in Canada, but U.S. rates hover at 61%. Corporations settle fines quietly, e.g., big chains caught but pay small penalties. It's profitable as consumers rarely notice. This lets $23 billion in global fraud thrive, hurting honest fishers whose $35 million Gulf catch is undercut. Spot real red snapper. Buy whole fish, red skin, clear eyes, bright red gills, no fishy smell. Fillets should have a red band under skin, firm white flesh. Check labels for Lutginus campicanus and Gulf origin. Avoid deals under $10 per pound. Taste: mild, sweet, not bland like tilapia. Use apps like Seafood Watch. Buy from trusted sources with traceability, e.g. Gulf Wild tags. Report suspects to FDA or NOAA. Empower yourself. Choose certified sustainable options to fight fraud. Have you ever suspected your red snapper was fake? Share in the comments. If you learned something new from this video, then like and subscribe, and also share the video with your friends. Your small support increases my motivation a lot. We will meet in the next video with a new topic. Until then, take very good care of yourself.